Right, are we ready on Ozani?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, how are you?
Doing well, Judge. Corey Cohen on behalf of Mr. Ozani.
Okay, so there's some things he was supposed to do prior to sentencing today.
That is correct, Judge. He completed that. I gave the stated copy if the court wants the original of the 12-week anger management.
We'll put that in the court file.
Thank you. And then he also gave a money order to the state for $810, which is restitution.
And has that been acknowledged?
Yes, we have it.
And who is that restitution to?
Stacy Dennis.
Okay, then the only other thing is court costs and cost of prosecution.
Right, which he could pay today. And
Okay.
it was a withholding. No further sanctions.
Okay, is there any legal cause why the court cannot proceed to sentencing?
The victim would like to give a victim impact statement.
Okay, that's fine, so if you'll have a seat there at the table. Ms. Dennis, come on up.
I'm supposed to tell you how this has impacted me, and financially and physically, and I lost a tooth in the trying to defend myself, and I've been unable to work. I was a salesperson at a mattress store where I'd be alone, and I was unable to be alone because I was very scared, and I had to quit. I decided to get into real estate, so if I had a bad day, I could just have a bad day. And I basically didn't really do anything because I can't function. When I was dating Mr. Wazani towards the end of our relationship, I developed so much anxiety I had to go on Zoloft. And after the night of January 12th, it became so painful. I'm now on 4 medications. And I see an individual therapist, and I'm in a sexual assault survivors group. And I have pharmacy bills. From the moment he burst through that door, my life has been one of duality, of fear and fight, because I'm a very strong person, not that you can see it today. Prior to meeting him, I had just come back 2 days from a trip around the world solo, where I did volunteer work, and I backpacked, and I'm very strong, like I said, and I love life, and I love people, and I was at a bar in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and a firecracker had gone off, and everyone said, "Oh my gosh, that's so horrible." And I said, "No, it was wonderful because I got to see the love of strangers and the joy of people." And now I don't go out, and I'm afraid to go out to a restaurant by myself. And my baby step is to go to a restaurant by myself. And so the nightmare of that night has been a roller coaster between fierce moments of anger and his sobs of proclamation of love. And so from that night on, I have wanted to run away, and I have open arms of so many friends who would take me in because I wanted to leave Orlando so badly. And I also wanted to fight for what was right, so I chose to come forward and prosecute. And so many victims of domestic abuse and survivors of a sexual assault do not, because it is terrifying to put that on the line. And I wanted to fight for what was right, and I wanted to fight to make sure that no one else is at hands of him, because you know I was not the first. So my duality of life of fear and fight has been how I have spent these last 13 months. I want to find who I was 2 years ago again, and that I know that is not who I am now, because he has killed me. I might be breathing, but he killed me. I am talking to you, and I might smile. I might laugh, and I might be funny, and it is a facade. I understood Robin Williams, and I understood how he died. And I get how he killed himself yet being so funny. I would walk in somewhere and laugh and be funny and put on a gracious, hysterical little routine and then sit in my car and sob hysterically. And at my lowest moments, when I was sure I couldn't make it, because I was so torn up by that night, I was the funniest person you would ever meet. And I would silently or loudly wail in the way that only angels and demons could hear. And after wrapping around my head around that there'd be no trial, and then he would only get a misdemeanor and a slap on the wrist, and then the man that strangled me and put a screwdriver to my throat, and then he sexually assaulted me. And then through that night he threatened to kill my children and my father, my sweet father, who he said he loved. Liquefied jelly of the person that I'd become, that I had slowly been rebuilding. That person was lit on fire, and I just burned, that there would be such little justice. And I was so devastated by that misdemeanor plea agreement that my son had the police come and put me in a hospital for observation because he was so concerned for me. How has this affected me? There are no words. And if you have never been assaulted or sexually abused, you will never know. I don't know if you've ever seen the TV show. And this sounds crazy, and the only people that have understood it were the people in my group. But if you've ever seen True Blood, when a vampire dies, they just and that's how it feels. Everything that I was just went, and I don't know who I am. And I'm trying to find who I am to put myself together again, and I'll never be the same when I'm trying to redefine myself for this new person. And I am isolated, and I would rather be alone. And I am not a fan of people like I once was. My joyful heart and my kind heart that I have fought against thoughts of saying, oh, I wish you would die, I hate him. And the smart words of a friend said, no, don't do that because that's not who you are. You must forgive, and I have forgiven because I will not be that bitter person that he is. My joyful heart burns a tiny little ember that encourages me not to be bitter or to lose hope. Because I know deep inside that God has a purpose and a plan. And with the Lord's help, therapy, friends, and my family, I will rise from this disgusting tragedy and I will heal. Fear or fight. Now is my fight time. Fight to survive. How has this changed me? I often said to him, do not mistake my kindness for weakness. Fear will be a player in my life, but I am now going to start choosing how much. The duality of fear and fight, and fear as the victor, will end one day. I am not there just yet, and I do believe that love conquers all. And the love that I have for people, the love that I have for my friends and my family, and the love that they have given to me, they, along with the strength of the Lord, and I have survived. And I will press on, and I will fight now for other survivors of domestic violence and sexual assaults. And I will fight with compassion and no judgment. And I will fight with love in my heart. And I will not let this be bitter and mean. This crime has upended my life, and it has decimated me for the last 13 months. And I am in a fog. So much so that I plan to have in a nice Excel sheet everything that this has cost me and pictures of my trip on the journey to show, my happy life, and I couldn't get that together because I can't work, because I can't get half my stuff together, because I'll sit and think I have to do something and hours will go by and I can't get anything done. I just can't function like I used to. But I'll get there. And I will come out a better person. I will come out even stronger. I am a good person. And I have stood through this as the only person in the light of truth. And I will prevail. As God is my witness, I will prevail. I ask that we continue as a society to fight for the survivors of domestic assault and sexual assault. I ask that we talk about this issue more. And I thank Seminole County for their survivors group through Elizabeth Ramirez. That has been a godsend for me. And I ask that Seminole County continues to support that. And I ask that there continues to be a greater dialogue for society as a whole to understand the trauma that survivors go through, so that as society is called to juries, that there is an understanding that there is no shame for having been a victim of domestic violence and sexual assault. We did nothing wrong. We are not victims, we are survivors. And to understand the psychological drama and trauma that happens to us, and the process that happens to us, and the understanding of what the predators do. There is no shame, and I stand before you not ashamed, and I stand before you as a survivor. And this has impacted my life. It has uptended me, and I am still very much so in shock, still very much so 13 months later, in a great deal of pain, still very, very hurt that society as a whole does not understand what it is like to be traumatized so. And I feel like one end I want everybody to hurt and suffer like me, but ultimately that is not me. And I ask that as we go forward, as all of you in the justice system goes forward, that you take time to educate yourself on the emotional trauma that this happens to people, to men, to women, gay, straight, transgendered society. And that as you go forward in your jobs, that you have a tender heart and that you understand what happens to people, and that you have compassion and understanding, and that we as a society say no more. No more excuses. No more he was drunk. No more boys will be boys. No more. And the cycle stops now. No more. This has upset my life and has given me a passion that I will fight on. No more. Thank you, Your Honor.
Don't leave. Don't leave, because I want to make a few comments.
Sorry.
There's a lot that I noticed from the minute you stood up there until now, and I want you to listen to what my observations are from here. You came up here very broken, okay? And at some point in time during your speech, you let out a nice sigh, and I saw some of the tension, of course not all of it, but some of the tension released from your shoulders. And then you became a very empowered speaker. And that is going to be your passion. You said you had a little light of ember, an ember of light in you, and you hope that it grows. I see it beginning to grow. You do have a lot of people sitting over there that love you, that support you. You are very passionate, and you will help the cause that you are going to fight for. So I encourage you to continue on to do that. Even your body language has completely changed from the minute you stood up there until now. I know you said you smile because it's who you are. I'm hoping that that smile reaches beyond your lips, down into your heart, because that's where it needs to be. And you can get that back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. They were understood and appreciated.
Thank you.
And I hope that this gives you some ability to leave some of that anger and fear behind in this courtroom, and when you walk out those doors, you walk out a person who has now come over that hump and is moving on in the right direction. That's my wish for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything further from either side?
No.
No, Your Honor.
Based upon the plea agreement that was entered, and the fact that Mr. Azani has done the 12-week anger management class, and sir, I hope that you have benefited from that class and understand the cause and effect. Our actions cause consequences. Sometimes they're good consequences, sometimes they're bad, and I hope that you learn that from the program. You have paid the restitution that you were ordered to pay. The GPS will be removed. There is $100 cost of $50 cost of prosecution and court costs. And you have, you said you're going to pay it today. You have until Friday at 5 o'clock to pay it. Do you have any questions?
No.
If you want to appeal the sentence the court has imposed, you have 30 days to do so. And that was with a withhold. Wait for your paperwork,
Right.
and wait, do not go, you have no process to count one.
As the count one, no pros.
Okay, wait over here for your paperwork, and we'll give you an opportunity, Ms. Dennis, to leave the building. Good luck to you.
And, no, it was actually removed last time, Your Honor,
Okay.
and that's to a lesser included of count 2, which
Yeah,
is the
it's
misdemeanor.
battery.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. You want to just have a seat?